Picture it. I offer the last vacant position to someone. Accept it. All positions are filled. Staff are acclimated to their roles. They need less support. Things seem to be moving in the right direction. I take a deep breath. I can finally focus on my own job duties. That lasts for maybe 24 hours before someone hands in a resignation. In social service, turnover is a common phenomenon. Many of our shops operate with over a 50% turnover rate. Of course, that leaves more work for those who stay behind, which puts more pressure, which is more likely to make them leave. The cycle continues. If you are a leader with a modicum of success at managing this cycle, then you want to feel that success again and again. Count on me. You're probably exhausted. And that was before the pandemic. Today, how many budgets cut? How many roles lost? Add to that the confusion of how on earth will social services be carried out? As we begin to return to in-person interactions, how do we take care of our team as we move to get the work done? As a leader, it starts and ends with you. Count on me. How do you stay your best? The answer is great. To be great, first, you need to gear up. Any long trip requires getting ready. This situation is similar. We are on a long road to recovery. We need to prepare our emergency backpack of emotional reserve because as leaders, we are in charge of ensuring clients are safe and thriving, contract goals met, and staff motivated. In order to gear up and be ready for this current situation, a routine of self-care is necessary. And not just the I will get to the spa when I can or a fantastic vacation. We know those are great and they're wonderful when you can have them. But that might not be possible right now. And that's okay. I'm talking about creating a routine in terms of self-care. It is about creating a pattern of caring for yourself in order to ensure that you refuel and refresh. What are those things that you have in place? Is there any time for quiet reflection in your day? How does your day begin? Are you someone who, before your feet leave the bed, you grab your device and start checking your emails and social media? Instead, consider opening your eyes and lying in bed for a minute or two before jumping into the start of the day. What's included in your routine for caring for yourself? There time for meditation or a quiet pause just to clear your thoughts? Do you exercise? If you don't, consider adding more movement, walking or dancing. Are you getting enough sleep? Start winding down a bit earlier. Do you journal? It may help release running thoughts or organize your thoughts. Perhaps you enjoy painting or taking pictures. It does not require complexity. Small actions carry a big impact on our well-being. And that's the focus. What are you doing? And is it a routine? The better you are at taking care of you, the better you'll manage your own emotions, the better you'll care for your team. That merits repeating. The better you are at taking care of you, the better you'll manage your own emotions, the better you'll care for your team. Second, recognize your role. Leaders set the tone. Our actions speak much louder than our words. If as a leader we say to staff, oh no, take the day off, you shouldn't be here if you're not feeling well, But we show up hunched over in pain because, oh, no, I'm all right. I can do it. I took medication. We convey our value for work and not self-care. Before learning how to gift myself the time, I kept coming to work sick until I lost my voice. From home, I tried to take calls. I wanted to show my dedication. Instead, I conveyed that nothing stops us from working. If we say, no one is time to click off, but we are the leader who has these great ideas at midnight or wee hours of the morning, and we then send off as emails at that time because, we don't want to forget. We convey that the day should not end as long as there is work to do. I grew accustomed to refreshing email in case an urgent matter arose. Responding only reinforced the habit and the resentment. It's the same virtually. Do you ask everyone to be on camera, but click yours off, right? Do we try to recreate meetings as we did in the past? Everybody sitting around looking at each other. What is the goal or the purpose of a meeting? Are there other ways to convey information? Zoom fatigue is real. Recognize that everyone is watching, waiting for the cues. Our actions speak much louder than our words. And so, as we take care of ourselves, we set the example that grants the psychological permission to those around us. See, if we say to do one thing, but then we do another, we inadvertently cast judgment on those who don't do as we do. Right? Keep working all the time. Right? That's what our behaviors are saying. Or we say we are above the rules. I have my reasons. I can handle it. You can't, so you need to follow the rules. What message are you seeking to give? Align your behaviors with your values. This is an influential tool for motivating staff, especially now. People are watching, waiting for the cues. Recognize your role. Leaders set the tone. Third, encourage. Encourage staff to actively establish boundaries to take care of themselves, to take a moment. How are you coping? It's a powerful question. Do you remember when you asked it? While we in social service deal with crisis all the time, this point in time is different. You add the pandemic of the virus, where unprecedented things happened, the lockdowns, illness, death, and the pandemic of social injustice, of racial inequities, and intense divisions. All these things happened, continue to happen. We are affected. We require more intentionality to ensure our instruments are optimal. In meeting families at their most vulnerable, we use ourselves. We are the instruments. How is your team? How are they coping? Do you remember when you asked? Our teams of human beings are experiencing a host of emotions. And here's the other kicker. They're all experiencing different things. There are those who care but have not been impacted. There are those who have been impacted and recovered. And there are those who grieve. Understanding this concept gives you the leader perspective. Encourage staff to have boundaries, to take care of themselves, to recognize when they may not be feeling their best, when their tempers are short, their patience missing, their hearts heavy. Remind them to take a moment, to take time. Normalize it. Care about them, and production will follow. Because we can't give what we don't have. We can't serve if we are depleted. Fourth, accept. When you're able to accept that what was will never be, let me say that again, what was will never be, how we function, How we do our work as social workers or social service providers will not be the same ever again. Now, yes, it's perfectly appropriate to mourn that truth. But what this era of the pandemic has done has been to thrust upon us the future of how social work will be. Connecting virtually, how is it made meaningful? We are such an in-person kind of profession. And at the core of what was most frustrating about what happened over a year ago, we weren't ready. As leaders, we are called to accept that the way we operated will not be possible in the same way anymore. And that's okay. It's different. And we can still be impactful. It requires us thinking differently. What lessons did we learn this year? What worked? What didn't? How do we accept the ideas that our teams may offer to help us plan for this new future? What's most important? Once we let go of trying to get back to the way we used to operate and accept that things have changed and that there will be something different, accept different is okay, it's just different, then it allows us to move forward by becoming open to the possibilities. When we accept and say it out loud, we allow for the conversation to begin. Our teams, our clients are waiting, counting on us to move forward. And because this never happened before, this pandemic, this madness, we can't even fathom what it will be. Just remain curious, accept. Finally, tender timing. Everything is urgent. Managing contracts, supporting staff, ensuring client safety, everything. I get that. And the urgency still matters because in our jobs, we're helping people that are often in crisis. At the other end of what we do, it makes a difference for people. Keep the urgency, but remember to be tender. Tap into your empathy. There is a great pain currently that we're experiencing as a world. Grief does not take a direct line to the other side to be well. It ebbs and flows. Different things cause us grief, whether it's the mourning of what was or the mourning of not one but two or more loved ones no longer here. Grief is a process. In our haste to lead and do a good job, count on me. Remember that our teams are made of people. We leaders are people, fragile and resilient, hurting, and still showing up because we believe in what we do. To keep our teams intact and effectively serve our clients in these trying times, leaders, heed the call. Count on me. Start at Gear Up. Intentionally take steps to take care of you. Recognize your role. People are watching and waiting for the cues. Encourage your team to care for themselves too. Accept what is. Deliver with tender timing. Show up great for your team. And when you say count on me, you can be certain that it's an exclamation point and not a question mark.